Joining me right now is UFC flyweight contender Kai Carl France, man. Kai, it's good to get you back on. How you living?
What's up, man? Yeah, good, bro. Newly dad now. It's been a week now since my son's been born, so it's such a crazy feeling being there for a birth and seeing this belly that you've seen for 9 months and actually be a person. So pretty blessed, and what a great way to go into fight week and um, jump into one of the biggest cards of the year, UFC 259, with two of my teammates. So I'm excited.
Have you got to that point where it's like you go to training camp, you train, and then all you can think about is just getting back home and just being around the baby all day, and that's it? That's like your life now.
Yeah, and no, it definitely is on the back of my mind. Coming home to cuddles with my son and seeing my partner and just being there. But it's a bigger sacrifice what I'm doing. And in New Zealand, we're having a quarantine. We're away for a little bit longer than just fight week. So lucky enough, we're only away for about 3 weeks. So small sacrifice to pay for the bigger picture. I want to provide for my family and make sure I'm putting food on the table. So best way to do that is for me to be focused, and that's what I've been doing. So I'm excited for this. I've been in this camp since just around Christmas, just before, and we've all been pushing together, me, Israel, and Carlos, and a few others. They're in the cards after us, Brad, Shane, and the local guys are getting ready for fights. So yeah, it's a good time to be at City Kickboxing at the moment. Just everyone's so active, and mean way to start the year.
I guess connected to you having a newborn is you signing a new fortified deal with the UFC. Most of the time, guys coming off losses, they don't sign or re-sign so quickly, but you got it done. Yeah. Take us through that process of getting another contract.
Yeah, so after my last fight on Fight Island, didn't go my way, but it was exciting, and we did get fight of the night. Pretty much right after that fight, I went up to Mick Maynard. I saw him at the restaurant in Abu Dhabi, and I was like, "Hey, bro, my contract's nearly about to run out. I think we need to sit down." He's like, "Hey, mate, you spoke my mind. I was just about to reach out to you as well. So, he said, we'll sit down and we'll get it done." So, waited a little bit, but it's usually they renegotiate when your next fight will be announced. So, this card came up. I told Eugene the best way to do it, get back in there, is just to run it back and build off, momentum off that last fight. It didn't go our way, but we can take away a lot of positives from my performance and fix holes that we saw as well. So, now we locked in another deal, another 4-fight deal. So good to have job security. Still ranked number 7 in the world for in the UFC for the flyweight division, and we're still in a good place. So even though I've come off a loss, stocks still go up, and now I have a new opponent in front of me. So that's all I've been focusing on is this date, and I want to be a role model for my son as well. I want to show him that if you do come off a loss and take failure, you just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again. I want to be an example of that, and not just my fight career, but in my everyday living, and be a role model for all the next generation, for New Zealanders, and for young people out there that do struggle with, overcoming adversity. And what better way to do it than living proof of it. So I've just kind of focused on being a better person every day, being a better fighter every day, and being the best dad every day. So I'm in a good place, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and I'm just excited for this one. It's a great matchup. Rogerio Bontorin. He's a tough opponent. I've seen him fight before. We've been on each other's radars for a while now. Been right in the middle of that flyweight division. It's a pinnacle fight for my career. I want to put a staple, make a statement, and put this guy away. And the best way to do that is to bring the fight to him. So Brazilians, they're always going to be tough. They're not shy for a brawl. Even if they're a jiu-jitsu guy, these guys are going to come out swinging. So that's what I expect for my next opponent to do, and we'll be doing our homework, so we'll be ready, and we'll weather that storm, and we'll solve that puzzle.
Before we go deeper into that matchup, I want to just go back to 253 a little bit, a chaotic fight, and you've been in a bunch of barn burners in the last couple. When you get back home and think about the fight, getting over the loss, that's what I wanted to focus on. Is how do you do that? How do you reset? How do you let that loss not sit in the back of your head for the whole camp, or do you let it sit in the back of your head?
It's not just, I don't just take the loss on my own. My whole team carries that loss, and especially having a head coach like Eugene Behrman, we're pretty much like family, and when I lose, he feels it 10 times as more, so he takes it personally, and I don't like letting my family down, let alone my team down, so he puts everything into these fight camps. He blood, sweat, and tears, and I know that if he's putting all that effort into it, I need to be making sure that I'm holding my end of the bargain and turning up the right attitude and doing all my extras outside of training, and it just elevates you to that next level where you need to be. And there's no time for excuses and saying, I could have done this, we could have done that. It's just turn up and get the work done. So a great place to be at our gym. If you're not motivated at our gym, you're in the wrong sport. And I just turn up because I know the next guy who's got a fight coming up needs me as well as I need them. So it's a great place to be. And I think at City Kickboxing, we're a good example of fighters that, we weren't always at the top, but we've kind of just always stuck it out. And we've got a system that obviously works, having 2 world title holders at our gym, and a few more to come. But this is just a fight game. You take losses and you evolve from it, you learn from it, and you just get back in there and do it again. There is a time and place where, you got to say when, and I'm still young in my career, so I know I've got a lot more fight in me. And it's just a fight game. My last fight, I just got caught, but 9 times out of 10, that elbow that landed would have missed. But I'm still learning, and I'm still getting comfortable in that cage. Best thing for me, though, is to not take too much time off. It's been a few months, but enough time for me to dust off the cobwebs of damage from that fight and lick my wounds. But now we're fresh and 100% ready for this next one. So, just get back in there and do it again. So, I'm in a good place.
Rogerio, he's a guy that's 2-1 in the UFC. He's fought some good guys. When you look at the rankings, I just actually looked at the rankings today, and somehow Matt Schnell slides in. He's number 7, and you and your opponent are tied for number 8, which is kind of crazy to me how that happened. But it is what it is. When you look at the matchup, what excites you most about facing a guy with his skill set?
Just in general, I want to be fighting the best guys in the world, and that's in the UFC. And anyone in this top 10, top 15 is legit, and they can beat anyone. So we haven't taken this fight lightly. What excites me about this fight, I watched his last one against Ray Borg. He got taken into deep water, got out-wrestled, and just kind of pushed past his barriers. So in this fight, I want to do the same. I want to mix it up as well as show that there's levels to this as well. And we've got a similar opponent. We've both fought Piver, Rolian Piver. He won by doctor stoppage. Close fight. Those guys were swinging hard, and eventually I think there was a head clash or some sort of clash which ultimately stopped the fight, but they were both cut. And I know he's going to come forward and try to do the same to me, but I've fought a few Brazilians before, and you just got to weather the storm. They're dangerous, but you just got to know when to back out and know when to commit, and I think that's where experience comes in, and where the coaches that you have make the difference. So I'm expecting the best Bontorin, but he should be expecting the best Kai.
For sure. Now with you, we know you have the world famous teammates, but there's a lot of guys in the gym that are not world famous, but they're legit fighters. They help you guys during training camp. For you, you're a flyweight. What guys are coming in to help you during training camp, as for sparring and stuff like that, just to get someone that's similar to your size?
Yeah, we have a few, amateur semi-pro about to make their pro debut in the gym. There's about 5 or 6 of them. So, these guys are legit. They keep me on my toes, which is awesome. It's good to see they know where the level is, but I got to work twice as hard just to make sure that these guys don't catch up. So it's good. It's a nice little transition, as well as we've got bigger guys. I do spar off like Shane, who's a featherweight, Shane Young, as well as Brad Riddell, lightweight, Dan Hooker. These guys are the ones you just know about, and then obviously the bigger guys like Israel and Carlos. But we've got guys on the cusp of getting signed to the UFC that are pretty close to my weight, or like lightweight and under. So good body types, different styles, not just all strikers, some of the wrestling background, some of the taekwondo background. So at our gym, we've got a rare thing where we can pick different styles for different matchups and kind of specialize on game plans, because you can get that exact look that your opponent's going to bring to the table. So we've got a few good guys coming through, and hopefully we get a few of them signed this year, which would be awesome. 7 of us now. We've got a massive fight happening this weekend in New Zealand. Joseph Parker, former heavyweight world champion, for AJ, for all the big names in boxing, Tyson Fury. He's fighting my teammate, Junior Farr, which is like the passing of the torch, who's the next best New Zealand heavyweight. So this is at Spark Arena. This is where New Zealand UFC Auckland was back in 2019, where I fought. This stadium will be used for a boxing ring, and it will be packed out, so crowds will be there. I think they're looking at about 12 to 13,000 people, and the undercard is full of about 3 or 4 teammates of ours from City Kickboxing. So it's going to be awesome to see that stadium full again, and seeing combat in that middle of that arena, which usually is for basketball and concerts and stuff. So it's going to be cool to see a boxing ring in there and see crowds again. So in New Zealand right now, we're pretty much normal with COVID and the pandemic. So we're back to full capacity with stadiums and crowds and stuff. So yeah, exciting time for the gym, because that's happening this Saturday. Then we fly out to Vegas the next day and do it for UFC 259. So busy time for us. Yeah.
Well, your last few fights have been pretty heated battles, back and forth, bell to bell. What can we expect, in this fight coming up?
Yeah, I guess more of the same. It's something that's in me, just that fire that I want to come forward. I want to swing. I want to put on exciting fights. And being in the flyweight division, I think there's 2 other flyweights on the night. Tim Elliott's fighting, as well as Joe Benavidez and Askerov. So I want to stand out. I don't want to let these other flyweights outshine me. And the best way to do that is to go forward and put the pressure on my opponent. So this fight, I want to showcase things that I've been working on outside of obviously my kickboxing background. I want to mix it up, and I want to get this win, not just for myself, but for my newborn, Kobe, just to show that you can turn your failures into success and pick yourself up when the chips are down, but you're never out.
For sure. Now, there's a lot of big fights. You mentioned the Benavidez Askerov fight. They just booked Matt Schnell versus Alex Perez. That's another big fight in the top 10. What do you think? Like, is that like the sweepstakes right now? These matchups that are coming up, yours included, it's like whoever wins is gonna probably likely face each other, and that's the next step towards the title, because it feels like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good place to be in our flyweight division. It's the most excited people have been about it in a while, even when DJ was the champ. It's just because it's so even now with that Moreno Figueroa fight that really put us on the map as flyweights, being number 1 slot as a main event, and surpassing everyone's expectations. Everyone thought it was going to be boring, or I know Figueroa just fought Perez a week before that, or 2 weeks before that, so people thought he's just going to run through Moreno, and this guy Moreno, he's cut from a different cloth. You got to do more than just bring it to him. You got to kill that guy to get him out. So it was awesome to see him I thought he won. I thought he did enough, and for him to get a draw and get the rematch coming in the next few months, it's just another exciting matchup to have for the UFC and for the fans, and it just puts more spotlight on our division. We've been criticised for it. When I spoke to you when I was making my UFC debut, we were speaking about how this could be the last UFC flyweight matchup ever. So a few years later, now we're talking about how it's the most talked about UFC division in the UFC. So it's cool that people have started to be educated and know that it's not a size thing. Fights get finished regardless of your weight class, and now seeing the belt get moved around a bit more just makes it more competitive and more exciting, and people are definitely tuning in now to watch us. So it's a great matchup. I just heard about it now. You talking about it, Perez and Schnell. So I'll definitely be watching that fight, and get through Bontorin, and I'd love to get the winner out of that fight, and that would be a pretty close title eliminator.
Petr Yan, he's defending his bantamweight title the same night against Aljamain Sterling. Yeah. What is your prediction on that fight? Do you see a decision, or do you see a finish happening?
No, but I see a finish happening. Petr Yan's lethal. Like, I used to spar with this guy back in the day at Tiger, and he's 10 times better than he was back then, and he was finishing guys. So now it's a confidence sport, and you can see him with the belt and the way he's training. He's so hungry and so motivated. The guy's like the Terminator. He just doesn't stop coming forward, and he laughs. When you hit him, he'll laugh at you and then knock you out. So now I'm excited to see this. Aljamain is dangerous on the ground, but there's levels to stand up, and Petr Yan's got one of the best hands and the best striking in the UFC, hands down. Not even being biased as a former teammate, but this guy is legit and just fun to watch. He brings the fight to his opponents, and I guess he's a pressure fighter. He'll wait till they make a mistake, and then he'll put them away. So I can see him definitely putting away Aljamain Sterling and still being the world title holder.
UFC 259, March 6th. You're back there getting into a fist fight, man. It's gonna be fun to watch you guys scrap, and good luck on the fight, man, and all the best to you and your new family.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate your time. We've always got time for you. You always show us love at City Kickboxing, so we always love to give it back.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a